Oh, cheers. There we go. Hey, Ben, my mate. Yeah, pretty good, man. Pretty good. Why the good home here in Mount Eden? Bro, Super Rugby time. Already started.
Serious?
That's it, bro.
Damn.
Oh, there you are. Good to see you, peeps. And you know what? We're down here at the good home because JK's got his wallet open.
Is he? Oh, mate, we're in Auckland, so about time we put it open.
Hey, that's us. That's us, bro.
beginning, yeah.
Hey, how come your Chiefs one's got his name on the back?
Oh, man, training jersey, mate. Home's when you're captain. I see you got number 14.
I took yours.
Start there again, mate.
Our game will never be defined by lines on a field or rules in a book. This game is defined by the defiant ones, the challengers, the next generation.
But I won't stay on the ground.
Witness Rugby Recoded. Investec Super Rugby returning soon to Sky Sport. Coverage brought to you by Placemakers.
It is game on. Super Rugby kicks off in 10 days' time. We're at the Good Home pub in Mount Eden, and it is on. Like I say, we're at Eden Park. It kicks off the Blues and Chiefs, but so much to talk about. So much change. Players, coaches, the landscape is very, very, very different. So John Kerwin, as always, is with me on the breakdown. For me, JK, excited about the season. What are you looking forward to?
Oh, the change. We've all wanted change, end of an era, new All Black coaches, new everything, and I love that. New selection policy, so it's exciting. Whole season,
yep.
Beautiful.
Back to back, right through playoffs, and
no
then we
breaks.
worry about the international. 25 years it's been going. Super Rugby, I know where I was, but where were you 25 years ago? What were you doing?
I was playing for the Warriors.
But I think... There he is.
Oh.
Wow, this is a fresh-faced John Kerwin.
Yeah, that is. But I think the most interesting thing for me is actually Super Rugby started professional rugby. So I was one of those rugby players that missed that transition. So 25 years ago, game went pro, and the whole world has changed. Fantastic. It's been a great journey.
And so much to look forward to. You think about the journey that Super Rugby has gone through. We've all gone through our own journeys. Kirsty Stanway is with us tonight, part of that kick-off crew we've had the last 12 months. And Kirsty, where were you and what were you doing 25 years ago?
Well, I look a little bit different nowadays. 25 years ago, don't really remember. Here I am in some garden. I think I was about 3 years old when Super Rugby kicked off. A little bit younger than you guys. Mills Miliaina, where were you? Actually, no, let's see where you were, Jeff, right? Because you looked a bit different, a lot more hair.
Oh, my God.
Wow.
Is that a high top fade? What's going on there?
That's an undercut.
Is it?
Where's it gone? Where's it gone is the question.
What do you mean, where's it gone? We all know it's gone. It's on the ground somewhere. It fell out. That is so mean. I can't believe it. This is, well, we've got breakdown inside and is the Chiefs and kick-off outside? What's going on? OK.
Segregation.
We'll talk to you a little bit later on. Let's get into it. Let's get into Super Rugby now. Let's start off. Let's talk about the Blues. Let's talk about their season. Let's talk with Dalton Papali'i. He's joined us, and Dalton, welcome. I know it's game on next weekend. It kicks off at a couple of games already. Well, one coming up as well. For you, how's the pre-season gone, and are you looking forward to this season?
No, 100%. I think all the Blues boys are looking forward to this season. It's a bit of a different face for a lot of franchises, like a lot of older boys have left. But for the Blues, I think this is the fittest we've ever been. Boys are getting PBs all across the board, so I think it's going to be a good year for us, actually going out there and boys actually lasting the full 80, not just going out there for the 60. And, I think, and the boys are looking strong as well, so we're looking good.
I'll get it in there early. Go the Blues.
Of course.
Go the Blues.
You couldn't find a jersey, though. You couldn't find a jersey. Can you get a jersey?
Listen, Goldie, they said to me, dress in your Blues gear. Look at those babies. Bring those on. Blue suede shoes.
Blue suede shoes?
Exactly. Blue shirt, blue jeans, standard dress.
I certainly don't own a pair of those. But anyway, carry on.
But yeah, Dalton, amazing journey for you just recently as a player in the All Black squad, around it. Few injuries late. How are you feeling about the new season?
No, all the body's feeling, 100%. I struggled with a bit of high ankle sprains with both my ankles, but the body's feeling fresh, and like I said, the boys are looking good. So, the great culture's been building at the Blues, so I'm just keen to get into it and get excited about it, and 100%.
OK, I mean, you've got the same coaching crew coming through, the things that they would have learned, and Patrick Tupolotu gets the opportunity to be captain. Have you seen him change in the last 12 months?
Oh,
And
100%. He's, you know, like he was always been a good bugger, but, you know, the sort of, you know, finding that balance between being professional and being professional in front of the boys is, you know, is a fine line, and he's just been nailing it. You know, he's speaking up a lot more, and he's actually, you know, a lot of clear messages coming out of him, and he's awesome, man. All the boys are buying in behind him, so it's going to be awesome to follow him on the field, bro. Yeah.
And Bowden Barrett.
Oh, here we go.
I love this.
Of course.
But, yeah, fantastic. Great signing for the Blues. Great young man, great leader in the All Blacks. World class. Coming back later on in the season, I mean, how do you actually plan for that? I mean, do you talk about him? Do you game plan around him? Do you sort of think, oh, he'll just come back and blend in? I mean, it's not an easy transition, an exciting one, but how do you actually deal with something like that?
Oh, it's an exciting one, but at the end of the day, you know, we can't really bank on him coming back and, you know, saving a season or, you know, getting our season started. You know, we're working with the boys we have, and they wouldn't be in the Blues if we didn't trust them, you know. So we're living week by week and preparing week by week. So it's going to be awesome. But, you know, we're all excited for him to be there. But at the end of the day, you know, we're using the boys that we have now, and we trust them. So, yeah.
A lot of competition through all the sides, but particularly that internal competition for places in the loose forward trio for you guys. You have that. For you, is there a preference? Is it at 6, is it at 7, or where do you feel you can make the best contribution?
You know, I tell a lot of people now, my main position I want to go forward is as a 7, but at the end of the day, if we're winning games and we're, you know, and we're playing our best footy, I want to play wherever it is that wins us games. You know, my goal is at the end of this year is to win a championship for the Blues. So.
I mean, I feel uncomfortable standing
championship.
over here.
He's talking championship. That's what you want to hear.
Bring it on. I love that. But it's really interesting talking about. We often talk about it on the breakdown. I feel uncomfortable over here because I was a left winger. You know, you played wing and fullback at an astounding level. But is really loose forwards going like the back three? I mean, can you still really say now, I actually want to play 7, or do you actually have to learn the other 2 roles?
I think a lot of, you know, in this generation, when I've come into the Blues in the professional environment, I've been learning the whole, or all 3 positions the whole time. You know, so there's differences between the 3, but I've never really had, you know, like a set position. I've just always come in and I've always learned all 3 just in case. So, you know, I'm pretty comfortable with playing all 3, and most of the boys in the Blues as well, they all know the 3 positions. So I think, you know, everyone gets around there.
You're starting with the Battle of State Highway 1. It's against the Chiefs. And how much was that first game going to be important to you as a group to set that standard for the season?
It's massive. You know, Chiefs and Blues, it doesn't get better than that. That's a derby that we all want to play. And, you know, the most physical games I've played is against the Chiefs. You know, we've got both teams have something on the line. But, man, boys are just excited to get amongst it.
Mate, you're pumped. I can tell you're pumped.
Yeah, I'm getting excited.
You're excited talking about it. I'm looking forward to seeing the impact you can have this season. Good luck.
Thanks.
Well, of course, Bowden Barrett is not the only international player coming into the Blues. Joe Marchant, he's traded in a Northern Hemisphere winter to come and play his first Super Rugby season.
So excited to be playing Super Rugby. It's a dream I've had since I was younger. Friday and Saturday mornings, we were always watching Super Rugby.
Almost in the clear.
Just love the way they play. There's a lot of really good attacking rugby.
Shrugs off a couple of tackles, carries a couple more. Count off Spencer!
There's so many great players who have come from New Zealand who, across the world, even back in England, everyone talks about New Zealand rugby.
Audacious stuff from the Blues.
I remember I've actually got, you know, the little balls you get? I actually got Tanu Umaunga's signature on one of those. It was quite funny when we were signing the ball the other day. He did his signature, obviously I haven't seen it for years, and I just saw it and I was like, oh, I actually remember it on the ball, like it's the same. I joined Harlequins about 6 years ago. We're a London club, southwest London.
Marchant, 2 to beat. Marchant, strong, powering forwards. What a finish!
My game back home especially has been quite defensive focused. Quite a big role as the 13 in England is being in charge of the defence and making sure the team are firing and defending well.
Oh, the intercept! Marchant read it beautifully and nobody will lay a finger on him.
I love getting the ball in space and trying to take players on.
Marchant chips it on the boot for Mike Brown!
Just getting the ball in my hands really. It's quite hard sometimes back in England, especially on the wet days in the middle of winter. But coming here, there's such an attack and focus, which is great. And even in training, you can see, I'm hoping that here there'll be a bit more space to be able to do that and just be able to run and just see what I can do.
The pounce from Joe Marchant.
I made my debut for England in the summer of this year. I didn't go too long off the bench. Even in the first 2 games, I actually didn't touch the ball, didn't make any tackles, but I was still really, really keen to do as much as I can to hopefully get on the plane. I ended up starting the last Malta game against Italy.
Marchant, Joe Marchant scores! And now they can really make some big noise.
Oh, it was just amazing. Being able to be a starter for England. All the boys left the next day though, so it was one of those ones which was like, it was amazing to get it, and then when everyone obviously leaves the next day, you're like, I was close, but yeah. We re-signed for Quins for 3 years, and part of the deal was to be able to come here for 6 months for a full season, experience Super Rugby, try and learn as much as I can, but with everything, even living in a new place, living in a different side of the world. And we got to run up Rangitoto with the Blues boys, which was amazing, and me and my girlfriend Abby, we've been trying to just see as much as we can. So excited to be playing Super Rugby. It's a dream I've had since I was younger, and I'm just so grateful I've got the opportunity to do something which I know a lot of boys, especially back home, would love to get the opportunity to do. So I'm just genuinely so lucky.
Well, you think you're lucky, Joe, but we are so lucky to have you here in New Zealand, and I think the Blues are very lucky to have you as well. James Parsons, can you give us a bit of an insight into what this guy brings? Very exciting, isn't he?
Yeah, he's electric, he's full of speed, he's full of energy, he's a young man, but I suppose he's got that ability to link in the centres there, but the ability obviously play on the wing as well. So I know he'll be fighting out for that 13 jersey with Rico, and I think the successful teams in the past that have won this competition had a lot of depth, so I think it's exciting for us.
How's he finding it here? Because he's used to obviously about to snow over in the UK at the moment. How's he finding the weather and also, the training sort of methods? He's only been here a couple of weeks, right?
Yeah, and he's coming back from a little bit of injury, but he's already found himself on the North Shore where it's the best.
The North Shore.
He likes the Takapuna beach area there, so we've got him in the right parts. But no, he's enjoying it. He's enjoying the boys, and he's adding a lot of energy. As I said, he's still a young man, and he's just excited to learn and excited to, I suppose, put his imprint in this competition.
We've been talking about the milestone, 25 years of Super Rugby this year. You've been in Super Rugby for 9 years yourself, so how's that feeling? Does it get easier?
No, it doesn't.
You're missing pre-season, though. You're missing the running.
You do have to do a lot less pre-season, which is good as you get older. But no, I think it's ever evolving, isn't it? This game, and that's what makes it so special. And you either evolve with that game and move with it, or you get left behind.
Mills, have you evolved from 25 years ago? I think you were there when Super Rugby started in Palmerston North, weren't you?
You debuted with Fitzy and Zinni and that, didn't you?
I was at high school.
Where were you?
And down in the Cargill, rolling my R's. So I've moved a long way since doing that. So, there you go.
There he is.
Look at the legs. They've grown a bit.
It was pre-season 96.
What you don't realise and see in that photo is that we're actually battling it out for last place.
Humble. Still humble. What's with the jersey, too?
Oh, mate,
we only celebrated you at the Blues the other day, and you turn up in a Chiefs jersey.
I'm torn, okay? And the best thing is, because you guys are hitting it out first round, Blues Chiefs at Eden Park on Friday night, whoever wins out of that, I'll wear the jerseys for the rest of the year.
Perfect.
See, that's the sort of advantage I've got in this game.
You did back us last year, it didn't go too well, so I'm glad you're backing the Chiefs this year.
Exactly, there you go, mate.
Yeah, beauty.
Hey, there's been some facts about the Super Rugby sides this year, and that the age is getting younger and younger. I think the average age for 2 of our teams are 24 years old. So how do you feel?
I'm bumping it up. That's fair to say. But I think it's good. As I said, it sort of brings the best out of you as a player, and making sure that you move with it. So I think I'm holding my own at this stage. Haven't done too much training yet because I'm just coming back from injury, but hoping to get back on the pitch.
Very, very wise, mate. You've been sitting it out and training very hard. Okay, we've heard Dalton say that you guys are stronger, you're hitting all the PBs. So can I ask, is this going to be the Blues year?
Touch wood, touch wood.
No PC stuff, mate. Come on, you got to tell us how it's going to be.
No, we're pretty confident. We've been led really well by our skip and Paddy, and I think that's where it all starts, is up front and leading from the top down, and he's making PBs in everything he does. So it's a great person to follow, and I think if he's heading in that sort of space, then everyone else will take shape from that.
Nice.
I've got just one more quick thing that I want to address with you, because someone mentioned it to me the other day that front rows are supposed to be the smartest players in our game, and I know that Mills and JK and Jeff, they'll have something to say about this, but this is where the businessmen come from, the Rhodes Scholars. Is this true?
Yeah, I'm following in Fitzy. Obviously Fitzy's done an extremely good job, and I'll be looking to follow in his footsteps, whether it be in business or wherever it leads to.
Well, there you go. Thank you so much for joining us. I won't say all the best for next Friday, but I'm sure you'll enjoy that game no matter what. While it is a new year, a new decade, and it is the dawn of a new era for a number of our teams, including the Highlanders, who have been put through their paces down south.
Hey, so welcome. Today, hopefully, you'll see a mix of some good conditioning, and then we're going to do lots of skills games and cognitive games to try and just challenge the guys in a bit of a different way. The thing we're trying to just improve is our ability to maintain our mental concentration while we're fatigued.
Each station is 1 minute. You have a 30-second transition to the next one. We're going around that twice.
Today we're going to do some more functional things, use medicine balls, heavy sandbags, sledgehammers, ski ergs, and just get guys doing some high repetition work just to try and put them under a bit of a mental and fatiguing stress. And then in between that, you'll see guys using things like hand-eye coordination tasks, trying to place things against the timer. They have some mental challenges, so word finds within a certain time. We have Kahoot quizzes, and then they have a pop and catch and things as well. Does it help them on the field? Hopefully it just helps them gain an idea of their default behaviour. So once they're really fatigued, is it their mentality that goes first? Do they have the ability to stay in the now and concentrate? On the field, we might have a break that's only 30, 40 seconds and a message has to be shared quickly in that time. And it's about, I guess, how do we process and retain information and execute under a high-stress, high-fatigue environment.
Many teams, each station, let's rock and roll.
We started off challenging ourselves mentally. Yeah, it's called Kahoot, and it's 10 questions, and it's just based around our game plan and the language that we use. So it's a race as well, and we're competing at the same time, so that was the challenge. What excites me most is we've got a new bunch of boys down here. We've got some really good athletes and talented rugby players, and having Brownie back, the style of footy that we want to play, has been really good.
Yeah, I came back straight after the quarter-final. I think it's a little bit of starting afresh with these guys. I think we've got 15 or so new players, a lot of young guys in our team, and it's been great the last 3 weeks to get them all, most of the squad together and training hard and working hard for each other.
Yeah, awesome to have him back. I think he just brings an innovative game, a fun style of play, so everyone's excited to play that style, and we know we'll have a dry ball. We got the bye first round, which is a wee bit different. So when we're playing our first game, other teams will be playing their second game. They wouldn't want to knock a bit of rust off. Yeah, no, looking forward to getting out in front of our fans at Forsyth under the roof. The weather hasn't been great here, but it doesn't matter because we've got a roof.
Yeah, they've got a roof. I think times have changed, JK. I don't remember any of those games. I remember a bench press and a couple of squats, and that was pretty much us, right?
Yeah, mind games. Never.
Mind games.
Never.
And Brownie had the finger. Yeah, Brownie had the finger out already.
Brownie has the ugliest hand of any back.
Wow. I tell you what,
he's got loose forwards hands, isn't he?
Well,
It's like...
he's been in a fair amount of trouble. Let's bring in a couple of Highlanders now. Let's talk about, I'm going to say Super Rugby favourites, because we know where my heart is, lads. Tavita Nambura, Nani Punavai. Nani, you made the decision to move from the Crusaders. Was that pure and simply come down to Dunedin and look for an opportunity?
Yeah, it was based around an opportunity. You know, awesome opportunity down there. Obviously, we've got a young group. And also a good opportunity for me to move away from home and really grow, not only as a rugby player, but as a person as well.
How hard were those conversations when you're talking to your family, knowing you are going to make a change? Not too far, 4 hours down the road, you know, one flight, but it has been a change. What have you noticed most?
My parents were really supportive, and they really helped me through that decision, so I was really thankful for what they did for me during those times. But yeah, it was a really tough decision to move away from home. You know,
you're loving it though, right? Let's be honest.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. It's awesome down there.
Awesome city. You can't guide the players because you're wearing that jersey.
I can. I'm going to. For the next 4 minutes, JK. Come on.
But to me, I wanted to ask you now, the thing that I'm loving about the Highlanders already is you've written off. Everyone's saying...
Only by you.
No. They're saying kindergarten, super team, everyone's young, big change.
We rebuild, yeah.
Rebuilding.
Yes, exactly, rebuilding.
But you are rebuilding with one of probably the most exciting young world coaches. You know, I know Brownie, besides his hand, challenges people, has great tactical and technical appreciation. I mean, what's it like having him back into the environment?
Yeah, because like Brownie, he got his own magic thing and the game plan and that. So yeah, good to have him around and bring his magic, some tips from Japan, and yeah.
And it's exciting. I mean, it's exciting for back play. You know, you know that you're going to come up with something different. So as players, it must be exciting to have that attacking flair.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Okay, Nani, you look at the way that you've played in the past and the Highlanders have played, the ability to play under the roof. How does that change the mindset, do you believe, and over these first couple of weeks in terms of preparing for it, what are you expecting from the side?
It's exciting playing under the roof. You know, it's always going to be dry, good conditions, so young group, we can play with a lot of speed and attack at pace, so it's going to be exciting.
Fearlessness, Savita, is that something that the likes of Brownie, Aaron Major, the coaches, the fact that they're prepared, they want you to have a go, is that something you want to do?
Yeah.
Every time you get the ball?
Yeah, just play your game and make sure you in the game and yeah, play a game.
I mean, is there any, who do you rely on in terms of the experience around you, the other players that you're going to have to call on because you've lost someone like Ben, you know, who is so influential? Who's going to have to build, and who do you talk to the most?
I talk to just the outside backs and John Nareki and just Chris Kuriran and those. Yeah.
Plenty of support there for you.
Yeah.
Well, looking forward to it. Looking forward to seeing you in action. We sort of all knew who our allegiance is worth. Maybe Carl Tanana's got some confusion. He's played for a number of Super Rugby sides. KT, have you got anything special for us? You might have some giveaways. Probably not something you're providing. Someone's given to you, of course.
Oh, no doubt about that. Yeah, I love giving free stuff, especially when it's not mine. And you know what? I've come in around and hanging with the peeps, and we're going to interrupt these young ladies here. One's on the phone, so I thought this other young lady would like to talk to. Like, hang on, got to hang up. Who are you hanging up on? Look, she's off. She's off. Look, they're both off. Well, you know, you've got to come here. You've got to come here. You can't leave me by myself. That's just rude. Okay. We've got some things to give away, but Super Rugby, who's your favourite team?
Oh, Crusaders, of course.
All right, that's enough of that, so we'll move on. No. So, are you from Christchurch, are you? Or?
No, I like the Blues. Definitely, they're my favourite.
Jeez, there's a quick tack, wasn't it? Hey, of course. So,
just catch you out.
So what's your name, sorry?
Holly.
Holly, and your friend that you're having dinner with?
Safia.
Safia. So
we actually just came here to have a drink in the sun, and then, like, all you guys turned up, so we thought, oh, that's
a good reason to stay.
Absolutely.
Who's your favourite? Jeff Wilson or John Kerwin or Mus Molina or Carl Tanana?
In 1986, it was John Kerwin and Greg Cooper. Yeah.
Greg Cooper? That's just a blast from the past.
I know.
So you like the Chiefs as well?
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely.
You left out the Hurricanes.
Hurricanes are good. Yeah, we'd support the Hurricanes.
Well, there we go. We support everyone. We support everyone.
Yeah, we're here just to support everyone. Yeah.
All right. So we're going to give away some prizes real soon, but after the break, let's get into some Chief mana.
Yes, this is the breakdown. We are at the Good Home pub in Mount Eden as we are talking Super Rugby for 2020. It kicks off in 10 days. We've got players, we've got commentators, we've got everyone you could possibly need. There it is, the Blues taking on the Chiefs 31st of January. That's next Friday. And then the first, Crusaders taking on the Waratahs, Eden Park and Nelson, those two games. 7:05 kickoff, 6:30 build-ups. Okay, so talk about the Blues. They are taking on the Chiefs. This is Luke Jacobson. Sir John Kerwin, of course, is with us as well. Luke, I know disappointment last year, not getting to go to a Rugby World Cup, but you're in recovery mode from concussion symptoms. Where are you at and when do you expect to be out there playing again?
Yeah, obviously very disappointing getting sent home and not being able to get out on the pitch as well. That would have been...
you weren't sent home.
Well, yeah, so I wasn't sent home.
You ruled out. Let's get it right.
Made a decision to come home. But things are going good so far. I had a good bit of time off, just no contact, and got into some pre-season December and January, and just sort of building contact up now. But looking to hopefully be back available round 2, round 3.
And you feeling good?
Feeling real good. Yeah, I haven't had any symptoms pretty much since I got sent back from Japan. Oh, sorry, came home from Japan.
Yeah, nice. Get it right. Let's get it right.
Got it that time.
So look, old guys like us.
Talk about yourself like that. Thank you very much.
We know that Gats is a Chiefs guy, but probably right through your career, all you've seen is this amazing world-renowned coach overseas. What's it been like having him home as a Chiefs man, but as a world-class coach?
Yeah, obviously there's a bit of hype around Gats and what he can do as a coach, and he's had some real good success overseas, but it's been really exciting to get him back in around the team. He's come in, he's sort of sprinkled in things from the start. He hasn't come in too strong, but slowly getting his sort of word across. But I think the main thing for us so far has been short trainings, which the boys are a big fan of. We've got about hour trainings in the afternoon, and I don't think we're starting until about 9:30, so no, happy days there.
The interesting thing for me was you took pre-season camps to the extreme and actually went camping. I mean, how did that work out, mate?
Yeah.
It's Super Rugby, you know you're staying in pretty flash gigs normally.
Yeah, well, I think we went for a little bit more of a connection sort of a thing. Camping, first night, I think there's a few dusty sleeps, but the boys sort of warmed into it once got used to their bedding arrangements. But no, it was real good. It was exactly that. It was for the connections, and we got to spend some good time together and get to know each other pretty well.
You're a team in 2019 that everyone was talking about at the end of the season. The fact you'd improved, that you're a young side that had come together. You bring in some leadership. You've got that from Warren Gatlin, but Aaron Cruden returns. He's a champion, a Chiefs man who knows how to win titles. What's he added to the environment already?
Yeah, awesome having Aaron back. He's a real general, and he knows what he wants, and it's been really good having him back so far. I probably haven't had so much to do with him myself because sort of been in and out, but getting good feedback from the back saying that he's coming in and he knows what he wants.
Backs and forwards, that's what we expect. That's backs and forwards, that's what we expect.
I mean, for me, one of the guys we missed the most last year at the World Cup was Damien McKenzie. You know, big loss to us all. I mean, you never mark him in touch. You wouldn't want to be on the opposite side of him if you're playing touch. But just great to have him back. He'd be excited. What does that do to the team environment?
Yeah, tough break for Damien last year with his ACL, but he's been working real hard getting his ACL back to good. And I mean, he was out there for 20 minutes for the Blues pre-season last week, and he was straight into it. It looked like he hadn't missed a beat. So it's going to be really exciting having him back and around the team, and he offers a great deal of leadership as well. So he'll be looking forward. Well, we'll be looking forward to having him and seeing what he can offer.
And significant change as well with Sam being announced as captain, Sam Kane, and you think about where he is at. I mean, he is someone that this team, when he plays, it's easy to follow.
Yeah. I mean, he's a chief through and through, isn't he? And he leads by example. He talks. He's a bloody good talker and pulls the boys together, but he goes out there and does the dirty work, which makes it easy to follow. Yeah,
outstanding. Looking forward to seeing you back out there and staying healthy. I really hope that for you, Luke, this season. Good luck. Look, we love talking about the Chiefs. We're looking forward to their competition against the Blues. Kirsty Stanway, if any of our team loves the Chiefs more, I don't know it. Give us another perspective on their season coming up, Kirsty.
Thanks very much, Effia. Sam McNichol here from the Chiefs, and you must be feeling very comfortable in here with us.
Yeah, I definitely do. Surrounded by a couple of big Chiefs fans. It's pretty cool. A few Chiefs jerseys out tonight, KT in one as well. So, yeah, it's awesome. It's good.
We're actually very lucky to have you here after what you've been through in the last couple of years with injury. I think you spent 20 weeks away from rugby.
Months.
20 months away from rugby. Yeah. How does it feel to finally be back? You're going to be rocking up in that Chiefs jersey yet again.
Yeah, all going to plan. I'll hopefully get to put the jumper on again this year. Took a bit of time away from the game to refresh mentally and just get the body right. So, yeah, all going to plan. Hopefully things hang in there and get a bit of time out on the paddock this season. Will be cool.
You talk about a bit of time away, and you've had that with your injury, but you've also been away. You've had a break over the summer. You've gone over to Bali and enjoyed that. Most of us just go to Invercargill, but some of us go to Bali. But how difficult is that when you're sort of strutting around? You've had a real big pre-season, but you still in the back of your mind know that you can't blow out because you've got to come back for the Super Rugby campaign.
Yeah, spot on there, Mills. Just it's in the back of your mind that you can't blow out fully, but still got to enjoy a little bit of time off and cruise with a bit of family and friends over that break. Enjoy a few bintangs over in Bali, but just know that when we get back to pre-season, the hard work begins again. And yeah, as long as we're refreshed, then happy as.
I want to play a quick game with you. I'm sure you've seen it on social media since you're one of the youngsters in the team. You start one, you bench one, and you drop one. 3 of your teammates: Ruben O'Neill, Mitch Brown, Tian Falcon. Who are you doing?
I'm definitely dropping Tian. He's growing on me, but unfortunately the little fella doesn't add too much value. I'll have Brownie off the bench. He's always consistent as Mitch Brown, and then I have to start Ruben O'Neill. He's an absolute character. He's always good for a laugh. So yeah, Ruben, mate, you get the start tonight.
There you go, and they're your flatmates as well, so I guess they'll be cooking dinner for you for a wee while. In terms of players, other players in the team, you attach yourself with Brad Weber. What's so good about Brad? Why is he your big brother? Little big brother, though.
Yeah, little big brother. Yeah, he tucks under my wing real nicely. He makes a really good small spoon. No, but Brad was year 13 when I was just a year 9 at Napier Boys, and sort of always took me under his wing a wee bit. Yeah, and then coming up to the Chiefs, yeah, it was always good just sort of knowing him, and I flattered with him for a couple of years. So yeah, he's got a lot of wisdom for a young fella.
Huge, big first-up game against the Blues. They got one over you in pre-season last week. Have you guys touched on that a little bit? Is there sort of a little bit of banter going around the boys, or?
No, not so much at the moment. We've got an in-house game this week, scenarios against each other, so I think the boys will just be fizzing to rip into that.
Chance to take out the other second flight centre.
Yeah, hopefully put best foot forward and sort of strive towards a jersey next week. But I think we'll start focusing again on the Blues next week, and yeah, I don't know. It's always tough playing the boys up the road there, so yeah, hopefully we can do a job.
We're going to throw it back Tuesday, 1995, you were born. Do you even remember when Mills was playing for the Chiefs?
96, was it, the first year?
Oh, bro.
No?
Bro, come on, mate.
He's getting roasted tonight, isn't he? Thanks so much for joining us. All the very best for this season. We do hope you stay fit. Well, the Chiefs, they have been out and about this season in Waihi, getting amongst the community. Check this out. Sam, being a Bay boy, what's it like coming to Waihi for these pre-season games?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I've spent a wee bit of time in Waihi and Waihi Beach, so to come here and then to find out it's sold out like a couple of days in advance is amazing. So expecting a pretty good crowd and yeah, obviously lots of Chiefs supporters.
How fun is this? Sky TV, Kirsty Stanaway. Say hello, team. Hi, Kirsty. Hi, Kirsty. You know, we're here with these kids doing some skills and drills, so it's a pretty awesome place to be.
What we're going to do is we're going to have a race, so you've got to grub it to your mate, and we're all going to get through. The quickest team wins.
Nice, scoop it up, send it straight back on the foot.
First week back, so how are you? How's the fitness? How's the lungs?
Yeah, Monday we ran the yo-yo test, and that was tough. Tuesday, I've never been so sore in my life. Coming to Waihi, the weather's been great, and it hasn't really felt like pre-season, to be honest. A bit of training, a bit of time at the beach, it's been good.
Who's your favourite player? Whose signatures did you get?
Kenzie.
Oh, you like Damien?
Yeah.
What about Damien?
Well, it sucks that he's been off for so long, but it's good to know that he's going to be back.
Some of the youngsters that are coming through is really exciting. Quinn Tupaia has been training with us for the last couple of years and finally gets his chance now that he's old enough to play Super Rugby. Bradley Slater at hooker. That's one back and one forward to look out for this year.
I'm really excited about the season. Obviously got Gaddy there, Cruds is back, and we've got a good crop of boys that have been there for a while, so I'm really confident in what we can do as a team, and hopefully it all works out.
All right, Anton. Even your own team get Anton. They've got a really good feeling this year. The way the boys have been working, there's been PBs left, right and centre. Just the general feeling around it's exciting.
You can expect a title. We're going for a title this year, without a doubt. We have a very strong side and pretty excited. The coaching staff is world class as well, so no reason why we can't.
Well, the Chiefs, they've brought in some serious talent back into their squad. Damien McKenzie, Aaron Cruden, but you'd have to say, JK, Warren Gatland returning home. You spent some time with him over this summer. What's the mindset you think coming in? And for him, is this a chance for him to relax into a longer season?
No.
Okay.
No. Gats does not relax. He's a winner, loves winning. He's come down here to do a great job, and that's his focus. And, you know, I think he's really proud to be home. I think he's really proud to be back with the Chiefs. He's excited about it. It's a different competition for him. There'll be different challenges, but the time I've spent with him, just absolutely loves it.
Well, the landscape has changed, though, and you think about the way that he has played the game and coached the game and the successes he has had. You think tactically the way he has done things. Can that transfer into Super Rugby? Because it is different to the international game.
Look, it's totally different, but Gats is smart enough to understand the difference. He came down here, you know, with the Lions and produced an outstanding performance because he will study. So he wouldn't have come down here cold, he'd come down here studying Super Rugby, understanding the difference between Northern and Southern Hemisphere. So, I mean, it's one of the exciting things about the season. We've got changes at the top with Fozzie, that's fantastic, excited about that. Got Gats coming home, you know, there's a lot of changes.
Well,
Jason
Brownie
Holland,
as well, Brownie coming into that coaching environment.
Chris
of course,
Gibbs at the Hurricanes.
Yeah, but there's a change there. John Plumtree has moved over to the All Blacks, so there are some significant changes. How does that hurt or hinder some of these teams? Well, the fact is it's just exciting. What about the motivation of Scott Robertson, the fact he has missed out on his dream opportunity with the All Blacks?
Yeah, and he'll be motivated to make sure that he proves everyone that we know he was worthy, but he'd still lost. We're all competitors, right? He didn't get the job. He'll be wanting to go out. Grady's re-signed with the Crusaders. He will want to go out and nail another title, and the team will want to help him. So I think that's really cool.
If we talk about the Hurricanes, though, and the changes in losing John Plumtree and you lose Beauden Barrett, the fact, are they the team really that they're going to have to respond, they're going to have to pull together, they're going to have to find a way to get through these late changes?
Oh, that's right. Beauden Barrett's at the Blues,
yeah.
eh?
We're not talking about that. We're talking about the Hurricanes. But,
Yeah, look,
I mean, they're a resilient team that have performed well.
Yeah, to be serious, Adi Savia, we don't know when he's going to be back. That's a big loss for them in the leadership. Beauden was a big leader. Also, the disruption of losing your coach halfway through the season, it's exciting, but it is disrupting. Yep. So I think the beginning of the season, Hurricanes that have been traditionally quite slow starters, but they will want to get off to a great start to compensate for some of those things. But I think their leadership, needs to step up, and they've got 2 great All Black leaders, so I think they'll understand the pressure that they're under. Adi Savia will be a big loss though.
Everyone goes to work in the pre-season. It's certainly no different for this Hurricanes team in 2020.
Today we're at Lyell Bay and we're kicking off traditional surf to peak. It's been happening since 2007. And it's a bit of a rite of passage really as we head into the Christmas break. So if you've played for the Hurricanes, you would have done a surf to peak, so that's something that everyone's got in common. The race starts with an 800-metre sprint. The boys then transition onto their bikes, bike for about 23 k's around the coast, end up at Oriental Parade, quick transition off the bikes, and then they're up a steep ascent up to Mount Vic.
This is just my second one. I've only been here for 2 years, but it's pretty hard, especially on a windy day like this. It's pretty typical of Wellington.
I guess it's pretty key just to get out in front early. If you're a good biker, you've got a good chance of winning it, so just got to get out in front early doors.
Past champions, Jimmy Gopeth won the inaugural event in 2007, Conrad Smith 2008, Brad Shields has won it twice, current squad members Jimmy Marshall and Blackie's won it 2015. It's a real grind. You need a big engine because you're basically working for an hour and trying to hold the highest intensity you can. You need to be mentally strong because there's going to be times when your legs and your lungs are going to be screaming out. It's a bit of a leveler because we've got a bike around, so the bigger guys sort of enjoy the bike and the smaller guys can scamper up the hill. We've been very fortunate because the boys have presented well after the off-season. This year's a condensed pre-season, so there was a big emphasis on making sure the guys were disciplined over that break.
Pre-season's been good. It's obviously a really hard time of the year, but it's getting us in shape for the start of the season.
There's been a few changes in the environment. Obviously, Plum's got the big job, so we're stoked for him and his family. It's a good opportunity for Joseph Holland, Alfie. He's been here for a while now. He's such a good man. He's got his own way of doing things. He's a real tactical and technical, and we just can't wait to get out there and play.
It was pretty tough. There was a bit of a headwind and I had a bit of a slow start. I ended up catching up to the front pack because one of the boys' gears started playing up, so ended up catching up to them and just tried to stay behind them and make them take all the wind.
It's pretty tough, eh? It's a pretty tough hour and 10 minutes. Yeah, you always want to win. I came third in the end. A couple of those fast fit boys charged me down the hill, but still happy with third.
Every day we've turned up, it's been very tough, and then we've had so much good learnings, and we're trying to grow every day. So I mean, we've all enjoyed it and we've had some fun while we're doing it. So we're getting ready to get stuck into 2020, and we all can't wait.
One of those things that I'm sure the players love to hate. Murphy Tatamai, you're here with us from the Hurricanes, and you've missed it because of your injury at the moment. Are you glad you've missed it, or would you rather be out there?
I actually would rather be out there doing it, but it is what it is, and we got told not to do it, so I couldn't.
Fair enough, fair enough.
This time last year, though, you spent a bit of time in the States. I mean, how did you find that and the experience there? I mean, not just on the field, but also off it.
I really enjoyed it off the field. I got into a bit of I love country, so I got into a bit of the country stuff over there, and really got involved with the culture and just everything over there. Yeah.
When you're talking about the culture and you loving country, well, we've got a song that we want to play you because we hear that you love your line dancing. Do you want to just pop to the front here? We might get a little tutorial going between you and Mills.
What? That's about, hey, that is what it is.
That is what it is, line dancing. How'd you get into it? Why'd you like it?
So a couple of the boys said that I always go to this place called the Grizzly Rose, and so I was like, oh yeah, I'll come around and get along with it, and just saw it, and I just jumped in the middle, and everyone was real friendly and helped me out over there. So
nice.
Yeah, we loved it.
It wasn't just the rugby though. You're also big into NFL, and your side they've just made the Super Bowl final.
Who you 49ers. Oh, the Niners. 49ers, mate. 49ers. Day one.
You are?
Yeah, definitely.
Been through the dark days.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been tough.
Hey, you've had you had a big injury last year, so a little bit different, training this year. Yeah. You're a little bit optimistic. You've only just started sort of straight line running, but you reckon you'll be back in 3 weeks?
Yeah.
Must have big lungs there, mate.
Yeah, that's me being the physio, so that's probably wrong, but no, probably a bit longer, but we'll have to wait and see how we go.
You've had a bit of disruption in terms of the coaching staff and things like that. How has the players sort of found that? I mean, you've got also CJ back there as defensive coach. How's he gone?
Nice. Yeah, upper heart, bro. He's fit in very well. He's come straight in, gone straight into his work, and love him in there. And the boys have adapted real well to the coaching change. it's something you can't really handle, but it's awesome the Plums to, get a promotion. So, yeah, we're really stoked for them, but, just got to move on and go forward with the boys.
What's it like being in the Hurricanes, wearing the Hurricanes logo? Because when you were in New Zealand last, you were with the Blues, but you grew up in the Heart. So for you, tell us what that's like.
It's definitely a dream come true. I watched this team growing up as a younger kid, supporting them through and through, and to get the opportunity to represent them is massive for me and my family as well.
What are your earliest Super Rugby memories then?
Probably just Jerry making hits after hit,
Oh,
Yeah. Even T, running amok out there, Christian Cullen running through the defence like nothing. Like all that stuff was pretty inspirational to me.
And now you're in there. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's definitely a change, but it's me.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. Thanks for showing Mills, or maybe not showing Mills, how to line dance. I don't know how we quite stacked up there.
Oh, neither did I.
Thanks so much. Let's go back to Jeff Wilson and JK.
It's gone all kick-off out there. There's no dancing going on here, JK, is there? There's no dancing. We took the serious business of rugby. Let's bring in Scotty Scrafton. He's another one that the Blues have let slip. But it's all right. Hey, leave him alone. He's seen an opportunity, and that's what this is about, right? You're going down to the Hurricanes. What have you enjoyed about being in Wellington? And we know it's windy, but the Cape Town Sky Sports Stadium, of course, this season. What are you looking forward to the most about playing down there?
Like you said, it's an opportunity, and the boys have been really welcoming to me. Just really get stuck into some footy and just get cracking into it, really.
Scotty, I hit you because, I followed Scotty for a long time. Bit of a later developer, really started hitting your straps in the last sort of 18 months, had a couple of injuries. What are you trying to nail this year from your point of view? Big opportunities for your start down there. So what does that look like for you? What do you think you need to nail?
For me personally, it's just about, looking after my body first, recovery, all the things you get told to do. And then for me, I just want to play rugby, play consistent minutes, and then see where it takes me, knuckle down and just, go for it.
We all know that you've lost possibly the best player in the world, and that's difficult for any team to get over. Have the coaches even talked about that, or the fact that they said, you know what, this is the group we've got, this is what we have to have going forward, and who are the guys who have started to stand up in terms of that playmaking leadership role already?
Yeah, and honestly, it hasn't. It's 2020, we're a new team, this is us. Obviously we've got Fletch and Jax, who they have both been standing up and they're battling away to see probably who gets the starting nod on round one, but they've both been awesome. Like, you've seen them play at my 10 and they rip it up. So,
what are your expectations though as a team? We saw last year the Chiefs, the fact that everyone looked at them and said they were a rebuild. Are the Hurricanes a bit better than that? Can you go deeper into this tournament?
Definitely, yeah, definitely. We're pretty confident. I mean, we've busted our ass off in pre-season.
You're being honest, you can say that.
So we've worked hard in pre-season and the boys are ready to get stuck in some footy, and I know there's a lot of doubt around it, but I think the boys will be ready to go.
And Chris Gibbs was with me in Japan. He's a no-nonsense forward coach, knows his stuff, done his yards here in New Zealand. He will want you to just do the simple stuff well.
Yeah, I mean, he brings a bit of hard edge to the forwards especially. He loves to be physical, loves the intent. So as for type 5, I love that stuff. So it's all about for him just smacking bodies and just doing it over and over again.
He can sing too. He can sing.
And I couldn't think of anything worse than hitting bodies. That's pretty much a good way for you to go.
Type 5 thing.
Look, we know there's 30 players out there every week that are competing, but it's always a challenge. We know that for the referees. KT is going to give us some insight to from one of our very best in action this season.
Yeah, thanks very much. Yeah, we have got one of our top referees, and in Super Rugby, one of the top referees, Paul Williams. Mate, you went to the World Cup in Japan. Have you rested yet?
To be honest, mate, no, not really. I kind of got back home and we moved house the following week, and then it was Christmas, then it was New Year's, and Super Rugby was just around the corner again. So no, not really, to be honest. Yeah.
You enjoy it though? You enjoy the experience?
Oh, I love it, and especially this time of the year, like building up to a new Super Rugby season. It's always exciting. Like the weather's good, the tracks are fast, the players are ready to go, and I can't wait to get into it.
You talk about the build-up to Super Rugby. You guys all convened together over in Stellenbosch in South Africa, get together and talk through things. How was that?
Yeah, no, it was actually really good. It's probably one of the most successful camps we've had in the time that I've been involved. It's a really good chance for us to get some real good clarity around what it is we're trying to do and what we're trying to achieve. So, and we don't get many opportunities. We only get one chance during the year. So to walk away with that, with absolute clarity about what we're going to do and how we're going to give to the game, it's really good.
Talk about clarity. There's a new law coming for Super Rugby, the high tackle. Just talk us through that, because I never made a tackle.
Yeah, me neither, mate. Too small for that,
Yeah, look, nothing really changes, to be totally honest with you. The only sort of new law trial that's been introduced for Super Rugby this year is the fact that if a tackle's made and it's slightly dangerous and it doesn't get picked up by the referee team, it's just going to be reviewed by an independent outsider. And if the tackle technique is not what it should be, then that message will be passed on back to either player or coach, so they can try and make the changes that are necessary.
There it is, peeps. Up here, no good. Down there, okay. There it is. Straight after this, we're going to hit some international footy. Stay with us.
This is the Good Home Pub, and this is the breakdown as we do this Super Rugby special as we build up to the start of this year's competition in 2020. So much to look forward to. Kicks off at Eden Park, but international season, we know it. We've got visitors after Super Rugby. The All Blacks, they take on Wales in 2 test matches. They take on Scotland in the Steinlager series as well. Then the Rugby Championship taking on Australia. That is in Melbourne on the 8th of August, and they return back to New Zealand. And of course, we shouldn't forget that's at Sky Stadium in Wellington the 15th of August. And we shouldn't forget the Wallabies have got, JK, a new coach. It's Dave Rennie. He's a guy who's taken the Chiefs to championships. We wondered whether there'd be change after Michael Cheika. A Kiwi's in charge. Are things very different in Australia now?
I think we're going to see a huge difference. I think that Cheika was an old-style coach, and Dave Rennie will come in and he will get the maximum out of that Australian team. If this Australian team's going to be any better, it's going to be next season, and I think that's fantastic. We've had a change of coach, and you know, a lot of people talk to me about, you know, is it a real change? Yes, it is a change. If you're an assistant, Goldie, and you become head coach, you want to change a lot. You want to bring something new. The selection will be different, so it brings for an exciting season. They're old Chiefs guys too.
Well, they haven't had to wait long, the coaches in this case, have they? The fact that Super Rugby is starting so early this year, but I think it's a real positive, the fact that they can get their feet on the ground, they can get inside these Super Rugby teams. We shouldn't forget in South Africa as well, they are now the world champions. What does that do for their domestic game? How inspired will that be in terms of their performance at Super Rugby? But the All Blacks, significant change. Ian Foster gets the responsibility as the All Black coach. Players are going to come in. They're available from week 1. It's a graduated return in terms of minutes over the first 3 or 4 weeks. How important is the management of not just the players, but also all of the people surrounding the All Blacks important to their performance?
We didn't win the World Cup. South Africa did.
Thanks for reminding us.
Yeah, but it's really, really important.
Put that behind us.
It's really, really important because I'm really excited because that's done and dusted. Now we need to move on to winning the next one, and that starts with the Super Rugby season. It's starting with a new coach, new staff, new ideas, and for me that's exciting. If you're a Super Rugby player, and a lot of our guys are young, what are you excited about? All bets are off, new coach, new opportunity, new 4-year cycle.
You get that, but even with the All Blacks, we've lost a hell of a lot of experience. We know that, the likes of your Kieran Reeds and Ben Smith, but there have been players who have come back into the fold, like the Damien McKenzie. That transition and opportunities means the fact that should we now just focus on this season for a change? Let's not look too far in the future, and I'm sure Ian Foster's responsibilities in 2020 for him will be to get results, because that's going to be important in terms of getting support from this New Zealand public.
I totally agree, and I think you're right. We need results this season, so he will need to be possibly conservative about his 4-year plan to the next World Cup because he needs to get results. New Zealand will want to see some change. He delivers that, gets great results, beats Australia when everyone's going, Dave Rennie, you know, South Africa world champs. If he gets some good wins this year, then he can say, I've got 3 years to the next World Cup, want to nail it.
If you think about Super Rugby then, it's an important performance of the players. We've got games at 7:05 now, that little bit earlier. Half of this competition is going to be played in daylight savings. Is the fact it's going to be an opportunity for these players to play on top of the ground. What sort of tournament are you expecting, and what do you expect of these players and for the All Blacks coming back in?
Yeah, look, thank you, Sanzar, for listening, because sometimes we feel that you don't, but you have. And that's important. We want earlier games. We want to be able to have it more family orientated. That's going to happen. I think it's exciting because things are new. 1 season, people. We didn't have to worry about the All Black gap and people coming in, getting injured and resting. It's just 1 season. We can get involved in it, get excited about it, back our teams, obviously.
Well, not obviously. Obviously, I have.
You see my shoes?
Oh, no,
you know where I'm at.
Oh.
But that's exciting. That's important. Continuity of a competition, new blood, new coaches, Get excited.
It's a new decade too. It's 2020. It's been 25 years. Let's see what is happening behind the scenes as we prepare with Israel Dag for the rugby coming up in 2020.
Kia ora whānau, the 25th Super Rugby season's finally here and we're in Auckland. We've got all the big boys here and we're about to shoot the Super Rugby promo. Let's go check out what the boys have been up to. We're in the makeup room and guess who's here? Oh, I can't believe it, mate. What's your thoughts? Do you like the blue?
Favourite colour. Do you think I look good?
Yellow looks good, a bit better than Bodie's blue. Thoughts on that, Bodie? You still hurting?
I still haven't come to terms with the diggy.
Tell us when he's running at you, what's going through your head? Dad life. How's that treating you, bud?
It's good, mate, and obviously we're up for promotions and feel bad texting Tegan saying I've had a good 10 hours sleep, and it's good, and he's coming up tonight, so I'm happy.
Hey, oi, run me through that, brother.
As you can see, like, you see my shin? That's all he kicked that whole game, the shin kick. And that's all he kicks off when he plays footy too. Get out of here.
We're doing a bit of Rugby Recoded this year, so it's sort of showing how rugby's changed over the years from '96 until today. So we've got the new Cinebot, I think you saw that before, just showcasing new moves and where the game's going and you know, how the game's being played by these young kids.
No, it's been really cool. You know, I played rugby growing up. I have like a lot of rugby through the blood of my family. I watch a lot of rugby. So the kind of be able to be here and be connected and share what we do. You know, we're very passionate about music, and I know a lot of the players are too. So it seems like a marriage kind of made in heaven.
Well, everyone, that's a wrap for the Super Rugby promo behind the scenes. Make sure you check us out and look forward to the 2020 Super Rugby season.
Yeah, Izzy's had a good summer, no doubt about that. That's what they are playing for, the Super Rugby Trophy, and we know who's had it for the last 3 seasons. It's been locked up. Ethan Blackadder, you've probably taken the odd drink out of that, have you? After winning championships, you can be honest, come on.
Yeah, had a couple of slaps out of it, Jeff.
Yeah, and celebrated in style, I'm sure. Let's talk about this season for you, Ethan. Coming in, you guys have lost a lot of experience, but does that just present opportunities for others?
Yeah, exactly, mate. Like, yeah, there's been, I think, 9 or 10 leave or whatever the number is, and it just gives all the guys that are coming into the squad and the rookies massive opportunities to step into those roles.
I mean, the rest of the country are really excited because it's the first time that we've seen a Crusaders side without a current captain or the past captain or 4, you know, legendary All Blacks that are still performing. So for you as a young guy, you know, you've just come off a great Marco's win, you know, you come into the side. What do you want to nail as one of the sort of not new guys, but you've been there a few years? You say to myself, my chance. What do you want to tick off early in the season?
Yeah, so for myself, it's just sort of coming back from injury and making sure when I come back, I'm sort of ready to go and ready to put my hand up.
In your position, we spoke about it before to Dalton about loose forward, you cover lock, you do a bit of that. So what's your preferred position and where would you love to get a run?
Blind side for myself and just still developing skills at number 8.
Ethan,
well.
if you talk about Razor, and obviously the disappointment, he didn't get the opportunity he was looking for, but he's always found ways to frame his seasons. But this seems as though this one, has he put the 3 behind it, and how have you guys done that? And how have you, I suppose, approached the pre-season as you know you're going towards challenging for another title?
Yeah, exactly, man. Like, yeah, Ray's awesome like that, and he'll have something up his sleeve. And yeah, we haven't really mentioned much about like going for 4 in a row. It's sort of process driven. We're just looking forward to another season and treating it week by week, game by game.
Now, has anything changed, or is it just the fact for the Crusaders, when you bring new guys in, the fact that you're going to have some younger guys get an opportunity? Who have you noticed that have had to step up already in terms of that leadership role?
Yeah, there's been a lot of guys obviously stepping into the leadership role that sort of were on the way up from last year, and yeah, that's the thing. There's always someone else going to fill that role. That's what it's all about.
And is that something that you feel as though you can do and you can offer, and you want to take more responsibilities doing that?
Yeah, definitely for myself. Yeah, I want to definitely learn as much as I can off the leaders already and grow my game that way.
The rest of the franchise, Ethan, would love to have the titles behind you. You know, we would be sitting here as Highlanders and Blues going, well, awesome. Is that a pressure, or is that exciting that you don't want to be the guy that lets the, you know, the championship side down?
Yeah, I think it's more exciting than anything. Like, yeah, like how exciting the end goal we want to work towards, and yeah, we're going to enjoy it on the way.
Yeah, there's no doubt as a side you know how to enjoy it, and Razor drives that, which is fantastic. And of course for the Crusaders, there were some challenges in 2019, and they've had to steel themselves and come together and look at 2020 in a different way.
What it means to players like myself is crusading for good change, crusading for people that don't have a voice, and in my case, crusading for my province and my franchise, and we love representing our people and our community.
We started thinking about the rebrand back in 2017, but the events of March accelerated the process. What was clear to us at the start of the process was that the name had two quite distinct meanings, and we'd probably represented in terms of iconography one meaning. So it was really important that we lived the name in terms of the meaning that we've chosen to represent now.
Yeah, so we were approached by the Crusaders in early 2019. The first step was very much about connecting with the people that shape the existing brand, what it stands for, the values, the principles that underpin it. That gives us all of the creative richness that we need to be able to shape an identity. The way that we went about shaping the logo itself, we were really keen to make something that was more iconic and more relevant to Aotearoa. We looked into what was relevant within the existing brand palette, and the C was something that was really kind of relevant. You start to look at the most iconic sporting brands around the world, the New York Yankees, Juventus. They really simplify it right down to just beautiful typography. Days of cartoons are kind of over. One of the things that we discovered throughout the research is that the Crusaders have only ever united the community. There's only one letter in the alphabet that if you turn it 90 degrees, it actually takes the shape of a heart. And the beautiful thing about that icon is that regardless of where you come from around the world, it's a universal symbol for aroha. I think there was a really lovely gift within Māoridom with kind of the natural kind of shaping of a sea and how it kind of starts to take on board the form of a mangopare or two korus or a pūhoro. 50% of the team at the moment is of Māori heritage, 80% has Pacific origins with it too. We were very keen to make sure that the new brand going forward had a better reflection of what Aotearoa New Zealand is today. 95% of the fan base said that whatever you do, just do not change the colours. And that was the strongest kind of brand asset that they had was mā pango mā whiro, red and black. So it wasn't about changing the colours or anything about it. It was just how do we go about adding substance and richness into those colours, tapping into mā tauranga Māori or the wisdom of Māoridom, and looking into this really lovely whakatauki mā pango mā whiro ka oti te mahi.
Mā pango mā whiro ka oti te mahi can resonate in many ways for different people. The mā pango piece speaks to the potential of the organisation. Mā whiro talks about the leadership.
When that whakatauki was originally designed 100 years ago or more, it's almost like it was written for us. Mā whiro, or with red, speaks to the cloak that chiefs wore that was adorned with the colours of red feathers, and we think that's really important in our organisation. Leadership not only from leaders but from everybody inside the organisation. Black speaks to this concept of infinite potential. It's the colour you see when you first wake up in the morning after dreaming. It's the colour that when you look into the universe you'd see infinity in the night sky. So for us, if you put together infinity and infinite potential with leadership, you can achieve anything.
It's a really nice story about the new logo for the Crusaders this season. Coming off a few touch players though, because they've been playing up the road. Did you ever jam George Bridge?
I tried to. I was at school, I was a bit more into athletics and stuff, so you know, you have guys like Richie Mo'unga and stuff that are pretty reasonably from their touchdowns.
After seeing that video and seeing some of the past players that have donned this red and black jersey, you got someone like Justin Marshall, Frosty Chips, you've got Israel Dagg's hairline, of course. Who did you model your hair off back in the day?
Oh, I've got a pretty stock standard straight back, you know. Obviously grew my hair out long for a wee while, but had to go for a wee while, so back to it.
Yeah, you're pretty classy, mate, the heel style, but you've had a big break now. It's a little bit different. It's your 4th season. You've obviously been, used to being on the other side when you see the All Blacks coming back, but now you're an All Black, you're an incumbent, a little bit different. You bought yourself a new house. Congratulations. I heard it's a mansion. But what does Razor say to you guys when you come in? Because this has been a successful transition for a lot of the All Blacks. What does he say to you guys? Is it your turn now just to take over from these guys that have been working so hard over the summer?
No, not so much. Obviously they've been putting in a lot of work, and sort of we don't want to come in and be changing everything that they've been doing. And so we've had 1 week back with the lads and sort of just been listening to see what they've been bringing in new, and we can develop that sort of once we start getting back into games and stuff. And but it's really exciting that the season's just around the corner.
Yeah, I mean, you say excited, but how are you feeling personally? Obviously disappointment of the Rugby World Cup, but how does George Bridge feel? Leading into this campaign, and especially first round next week.
Yeah, no, I'm feeling really good. Had a nice long break after Japan. It was a pretty intense wee stint over there, but got home and spent a bit of time in Gisborne. Settled into the Gizzy lifestyle for a wee while.
Get on the farm, mate.
Yeah,
Good on you.
And so it was well needed, and sort of, I guess, losing at the World Cup sort of given me that drive to keep working hard and making that season coming forth really exciting.
That team must be really quiet without Israel Dagg in the mix.
Yeah, it's not a bad thing, though.
Hey, thank you so much for joining us, George Bridge, and all the best for the season as well. Okay, well, from one winner to another, let's see who Carl Tanana's got with the tickets and the jerseys. Everything's been given away, isn't it?
Thank you very much, Kirsten. Of course, I love giving away free stuff now. I've enlisted, Becky, stop talking jibber jabber. I've enlisted the manager on duty. Becky, can you please get me a jug, ASAP Rocky? Very official. We're gonna shake. You're gonna shake that, please. This is for a Super Rugby jersey. Go Bex.
Okay, so 53.
Shout it out to everyone.
53.
Louder voice than that. 53. Who's 53? The bro's coming. 53. There he is. Here's the chapstick. Let's go meet the bro. What's your name, my mate?
How you going, mate?
What's your name?
Mike.
Mike, give me up, just make sure it's official. 54. That's all.
Yeah.
What's our Super Rugby team? What's the Super Rugby jersey you're going to pick?
Super Rugby jersey?
Yeah, you get a free one, so I'm paying for it, actually.
It's got to be the Chiefs, does it?
Is it? No.
No, it'll be the Chiefs.
Yeah, the Chiefs? How come?
It's my mate's pointing at it.
Well, there it is. Well done, free Chiefs. Let's go to the break, and after that, we'll wrap up the other franchises in Super Rugby.
The first breakdown of 2020 Super Rugby kicks off in 10 days. Friday night, the Blues taking on the Chiefs. Saturday night, they're both 7:05 kickoff, 6:30 build-ups. Crusaders taking on the Waratahs, the defending champions, looking to go for their 4th title in a row. It is certainly going to be a race. I certainly believe that. Super Rugby, we shouldn't forget, though, it's not just about New Zealand. There are 2 other conferences, South Africa and Australia. The Sunwolves, 1 more year, maybe in Super Rugby, and the Hawares as well. Mills, for you look at it, we shouldn't disregard the fact that now we've got the defending champions in Australia, the world in South Africa. Wow, that was Australia. How did I say that? Impossible. But let's think about it, Mills. How do you rate those South African sides? Who should we be worried about?
Oh, you should be worried about all of them. I think what they've done in the Rugby World Cup. You'd be looking at them and saying, well, here's the pressure now. How can you guys back up in all your franchises, not just your number one team? So I'm looking forward to the way they come out. The Lions have always been, traditionally over the last couple of years, pretty strong. So perhaps, they might sort of stamp their mark on the competition next year.
Kirsty, though, the Hawares last year, they were the team that made it. They got themselves through to the playoffs. They were part of the big picture. Disappointing Rugby World Cup for Argentina. Are you expecting a rebound season from them?
Well, it's going to be tough, isn't it? It's tough for all teams coming after the Rugby World Cup, all countries. They deserved to be in that final, though, last year, didn't they? They deserved to be there, JK. And what they brought to the competition last year, what their fans brought to the competition, was amazing. It's what we needed.
We've always said that one of the bad things about having such a strong Hawaii's team with the national side is you can't rest them. They've got to go right through. And I think they paid for that in the World Cup. They will be looking to try and get more depth, get players from different areas again for their national side, because you just run out of juice. We see that with our players, resting them, so that's their challenge.
But the Rugby World Cup was such a success in Japan, Mills. You think about the Sunwolves, yes, it may be their last year, but the crowds will be there. They'll still be looking to impress, and the fact that they can still play an exciting brand of rugby.
Oh, they'll definitely have the backing, considering what they've done in the Rugby World Cup in terms of the crowd numbers. You know, yes, there's probably a little bit an added incentive now to do well, given it could possibly be their last year. But I'm looking forward to seeing how those guys go. There's a bit of a Kiwi influence here as well, which I'm looking forward to seeing how they progress. And you've got to remember, over the last couple of years, they've actually pipped off a few quality teams as well.
We don't want to mention who though, Mills.
No, I won't.
No, Kirsty, let's think about Australia.
Yeah.
Dave Rennie's come in charge over there. There'll be a different intensity about them. And I think they want to move on from all of the drama in 2019. The Israel Folau saga seemed to drag them down. A new year, a new decade for them, and maybe a rebirth of Australian rugby.
Well, we need Australian rugby to be stronger and better against us, don't we? So that people tune in and watch, not necessarily for us, because we don't want to see our sides lose, but...
You realise the Tron Trophy we've got at the moment is the Bledisloe Cup.
Yeah, exactly. Well, they're Super Rugby sides, though. We're talking about those guys. The Waratahs, they've got a young kid in their side, this 19-year-old fullback that's been touted as the next Israel Folau. People are saying that he could potentially be bigger. I think you looked at him, he's only 19. That's pretty crazy. His name is Mark Nawangani Tawaze, and there is big raps on him, so he's a player to look out for in Australia.
I think the interesting thing for me, Goldie, is that Dave Rennie comes from a sharing environment in New Zealand. It'll be interesting to see how much influence he has on the franchises early. He'll want them all to work together, working towards a common goal, working towards same game plans. Will he be able to establish that straight away, Mills? I think that'll be a challenge.
And look at the guys around him in the other franchise. You've got Rob Penny there at the Waratahs. Brad Thorne now gets another chance. You know how good they were too, the Reds, last year. So he's got plenty of influence there.
Cannot take anything for granted. Carlton Arna's still got more stuff to give away. KT one last time tonight on the breakdown.
Yeah, thanks. This is for the Blues experience. Sideline, behind the scenes. They go hang out with you. Jeff sideline for commentary. I've enlisted Stevie. The bros looked after us tonight. It's up to you, my mate. Out of the Super Rugby Cup, no pressure.
All right, here we go. Pretty deep. Drum roll. E58.
58, you've got to shout that out. So I got told off.
58! We got a number 58!
Hey, the same fella's coming up. Nah. 58. Well, we're still waiting. Otherwise, they're going to redo it again. The bro's coming again. What is this? Are they giving you both, have they? So you won again, have you?
What's this?
58, beat it! 58, next. Hey, you know what? We'll get 58. We'll give the details. Jeff, back to you, my mate.
Thanks. Thank you so much. It's not just about Super Rugby. There's plenty more rugby to watch on Sky at the moment. Plenty going on. Japan Top League, it is in full swing. We've got the HSBC Sevens coming up on the 25th. Six Nations as well. The Blues and the Chiefs. There is so much to look forward, so much to come up. I can't wait for the season to get going. Massive thanks to everyone. JK, though, for you look at the season coming up, all the changes that have happened. What are you looking forward to the most?
One season, no break. New coach, new All Black coach, new coaches, new players. Exciting. Bring it on.
We've been surrounded by the players. I want a quick pick, Mills.
No, you can't.
Because you've got teams. Come on now.
I'm neutral. I'm
Come
neutral.
on now. Head and heart.
I'm neutrally Chiefs.
Head and heart. We know what it's all about. You're sitting in neutral. For you, Kirsty?
Well, Sam Cane said another title is coming to the Chiefs, so it has to be the Chiefs, right?
Well,
it's our year, mate. It's our year.
Who's our?
Well, who do you think?
Who do you think? Okay, I was obviously going with the Blues. I know where I am. Head and heart. It's the Highlanders and Kate. Oh, yeah. There he is.
Dad's the chief, man. That's why I'm wearing the jersey, my mate. So we've got to go to Chiefs.
He was a Honda. Hey, thanks very much, guys. Appreciate you coming. And I know you're in the heart of the pre-season. So much for us to look forward to. Mills, Kirsty, JK, even you, KT. On top of your game, mate. On top of your game. So much to look forward to. Don't forget, it's all coming up. It starts at Eden Park in 10 days' time as a thanks. Thanks very much to everyone involved, the Good Home Pub. We will see you at Eden Park when the Blues take on the Chiefs.